Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm featuring some lower tier gameplay on this channel because I don't always want it to be tier 10s, right? I'm playing in the tier 6 Czechoslovakian medium tank, and I am making an absolute mess of trying to get into position at the start of this game. And that's because this was pretty much one of the first times I played this vehicle. I know a lot of you might be thinking, oh well, you've got the TVP T50/51, how did you not play this vehicle a lot? Well, I have to admit, I was a bit filthy, and when the Czechoslovakian auto-loading medium tanks came out, I wanted to skip the tier 7 and skip the tier 8 and make my way straight up towards tier 9. That's something that I don't always do. And so you might be noticing at the start of this game, I am crashing into everything. And that's because I did not realize just how awful the tank traverse was on this vehicle. We are talking about 30 degrees a second tank traverse on the tracks. That's absolutely awful for a medium tank. Something like a Cromwell Berlin, for example, is going to be ducking and weaving, running rings around its opponents. This vehicle, certainly not. However, while the tier 7 and the tier 8 Czechoslovakian medium tanks do not have autoloaders, something that the line is, I guess, famous for, the tier 6 tank does. And so if you want to jump right into one of the autoloading Czechoslovakian medium tanks to see what they're like at the tier 9 and the tier 10, then maybe this is going to be a little bit easier to get. Well, certainly a lot easier to get. And as we can see, they deal quite a lot of damage rather quickly. A lot like that AMX 1375, for example. But the unload speed of this gun is an incredible 1.33 seconds. So that means within 2.66 seconds of the first shot, you've been able to do 330 damage to your opponents, albeit with a fairly poor amount of penetration. 132 on its standard rounds to be exact, but a quick jab of that Tukey will bring that up to 185, and that will allow you to take on your harder hitting opponents. Maybe you might stand a chance of going through something like an IS-3 frontally, or even a T-29, for example. That thing's got some fairly impressive armor. Talking about tier 7 heavy tanks, this Black Prince is about to put himself in a rather tricky situation. Did I just bounce off his butt? What? That's outrageous. But luckily we managed to put the subsequent 2 shells in. And just look at the reload on this tank, it's not too bad. 1,856 base DPM, and then you're ready to go again. Now while the magazine potential might be rather low for an auto-loading tank, yeah, you can seem to get that DPM out rather effectively, and that fire into the back of the Black Prince was just the icing on the cake, and that puts us up to a whopping 1,654 damage, dealt to mostly higher tier tanks if we take into account the 1375. Talking about higher tier tanks, well, now we're going to be shooting at the lower tier ones, right? The T-34, we managed to put 1 into the side of his vehicle, actually make that 2 into the side of his vehicle. Now we have to deal with the T-34 85M, a much more dangerous tank with 75mm of well-angled frontal armor that we would struggle to be able to get through with our standard ammunition. Luckily, the T-29 backs us up, pushes forwards, shuts down the T-34 85M, but the annoying Hummel on the enemy team takes us out. And there you go! T-29 also finishes off another T-34. What's he got against mid-tiered Soviet medium tanks, right, guys? Oh, that T-29. I just love it so much. One of the best tanks tier for tier in the game. I remember having a cracking game on the T-29 on this map. You might be noticing, okay. I'm a bit worried about this artillery. You might notice that even though I want to try and get around the corner and take on this Panzer IV-H, I don't usually sit in third person mode, but I'm terrified that that S-51 is just going to push me off the edge. I'm ready for it. You can see I'm looking around. I'm completely paranoid right now. Would you be too with an S-51 in this position? Maybe. I'm thinking the artillery might hit me. What did he even fire at? Did he try and blind fire something? I don't even know. Anyway, we got the kill. We pulled back. Let's just leave that S-51 to his own devices. Oh my word. Bit worried about what he was going to do there. But so far, you guys have been seeing everything that's great about this vehicle. And one thing that I should highlight as well, 10 degrees of gun depression. This is an absolute joy to play around on the ridgelines, and it's also fairly quick, 60 kilometers an hour. It's got an okay power to weight ratio of 21.46, not quite as good as the Cromwell, for example, but that's certainly not terrible. And the only thing that really lets this tank down is the tank traverse, the track traverse of this vehicle. It does turn like a boat. Okay, so now we're in a rather tricky situation here. We've got a Stug 3G and a KV-1S who was on a lot more hit points than he is now, popping round that corner. I didn't want to go round because I thought that maybe the KV-1S could have one-shot me with a derp, or maybe even the Stug 3G was not going to die to a single magazine. Oh no, we low-rolled Well, actually, we rolled average there, but because he's got 350 hit points, it was very unlikely that we were going to deal the remaining 1,000... Sorry, 1,000? Sorry, I've been playing far too many high tiers. The 123 damage with the remaining 110 in our tank. Nevertheless, we've got enough health, having figured out that he's not using the 105mm derp, to tank a shot, come round, and that's where your autoloaders are just beautiful. A Škoda 3G taken out, one of the better players on the enemy team. It's not really that impressive to take out a lower tiered vehicle, but it's always nice when you're taking out the more influential players. I'm not saying that I'm sitting there targeting, but it just feels like it's more of an achievement, right? I'm not sure if you guys do, all of you out there who do use my mod pack. It feels really good to take on the better players, right? That's where the challenge is, I guess. And I know when the shoe's been on the other foot, and all of you cheeky lads out there and lasses have been kicking my butt because you've seen me on the enemy team. It's getting harder and harder these days for me to play World of Tanks normally, but I'm still enjoying it at least. Now, having dealt with that Stug, the T-29 looks like he might have a little bit of trouble against a Tiger 131, that tier 6 German premium heavy tank that does have a good old amount of hit points, 950, and its penetration is probably enough to contest the T-29, and there we go, 239 damage dealt to him, but the T-29 puts in a rather nice round back into him. Now that T-29 has had a cracking game so far. He's on 5 kills, but there are 2 artillery to handle as well here. But luckily, one thing I'd like to highlight as we unload into the back of this Tiger 131, you notice that I gave a very wide berth along here because I was trying to think about where the Tiger 131 might be. I was thinking he might possibly be in one of these alcoves. Didn't want to drive down the street and have him turn around and come after me. I wanted to try and maybe get some spots on him out in the field, and that would at least give me multiple ways to run away. You want to flank him. You want to be a support vehicle in all of your lower tiered mediums in these higher tiered games. And you'll notice that I also invited this T-29, what's his name? His name is Budzik, to a platoon, because I was thinking, hey, maybe we can get a Brothers in Arms medal here. Maybe we can even get a cheeky crucial contribution for picking up the 12 kills at the end of the game. But this Lorraine 15550 is going to have something else to say about that, as we're going to see later on in this replay. Oh dear, would have been nice if I'd loaded some premium rounds there to be able to shoot at these guys. The shell velocity, a little lackluster. What is the shell velocity exactly on this tank? We are talking about, gosh, can't quite see it, 900 meters a second. It's not great. What does the shell velocity go up to if we use premium rounds? The shell velocity goes up to 1090. Oh, well, you learn new things every day. Doesn't look like there's much use in actually loading premium rounds on this tank if you want to try and engage long-range opponents that you think might be trying to evade your fire. Nevertheless, the M41 HMC misses, and so we feel all the safer to be able to come around the corner and take him out. But that means that my T-29 buddy is now down to 210 hit points. And the Lorraine 15550 begins a 1 versus 4 situation. Now we've really got to be careful here, because if you've got some really healthy tanks against an artillery, somebody goes around the corner, somebody takes the shot, and you just go round and finish them off, right? But when you're all a one-shot and you're playing against a very sneaky, fast French Tier 7 self-propelled gun, it can be a little bit more tricky. Nevertheless, the rapid speed of this tank at 60 kilometers an hour, top speed limit and decent power to weight ratio should be allow us to find him. And considering the Lorraine went through the cap circle, we knew where he was, and we're going to finish him off now. Oh, well, high explosive round whizzes over the top of the vehicle, and the Lorraine 15550 just drives by and kills the S51. Alright, well, now maybe we've got a game on our hands. The T-29 went back towards the cap circle because I guess he thought the Lorraine might be waiting there, but alas, he wasn't. And now the Lorraine's going to be able to get away from me. One thing I'd like to highlight is this tank wasn't even fully upgraded when I was playing this game. I didn't have the top engine. And so while the top engine does have a 21.46 power to weight ratio, my track traverse and my engine power was just a little bit worse. And so do take that into consideration. Now you'll notice that I slow down here because I'm trying to put my mind into what the Lorraine 15550 would be doing. And if I was that artillery, I would have turned my tank around and tried to ambush somebody as they came over the ridgeline. However, good thing I have put myself into my opponent's thinking, and I was able to avoid his shell, and wow, doesn't look like high explosive rounds are very useful on this tank. Look at me, 38mm of penetration, 175 damage. I was expecting to be able to kill that Lorraine 15550 there, but for some reason they just didn't work. I guess they got completely absorbed by the tracks. Now I'm going to stop trying to cheap out and fire the premium rounds on this tank and... Okay, the T-29 isn't going to be getting his 7th kill of this game. And he just stole the Brothers-in-Arms medal away from us. Luckily, I am able to come around the corner and dispense justice for my Polish, I guess. What are we going to be saying here? Oh, what do I call it in my videos? Unexpected friend. That's what it is. My unexpected friend in the form of Budzik. And I still managed to secure us a crucial contribution medal for 12 combined kills. Or do you still get that even if one of you has died? And yes, it looks like we do. Crucial contribution doesn't require you to stay alive, just get 12 kills amongst your platoon, while the Brothers-in-Arms medal requires each member to get at least 3 kills and stay alive through the battle. So I guess that pesky Lorraine 155 managed to steal the Brothers-in-Arms, but securing that crucial contribution always feels a little good. I also get a Pascucci's medal here for killing 2 of the enemy's self-propelled gun, and a high caliber for 3,241 damage dealt. And wow, with that T-29, we pretty much carried this game, right guys? And luckily, because I think I only had to fire 1 premium round here against that artillery at the end, even though I tried to cheap out and fire those high explosives, and I guess it kind of cost my unexpected friend his life thinking about it. We make 44,000 credits profit, so that is the Škoda T25, never featured on this channel before, and I do not know why. This tank is an absolute little gem at tier 6. And if you guys like what you see with regards to this vehicle, maybe you should go and check it out. Oh dear, I need a shower after that one. Anyway, I hope all of you lovely ladies and gentlemen out there enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And let me know in the comments down below, what are your hidden gems amongst otherwise tech trees that might not be very special until you reach the top. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.